Bienvenue à tous. Welcome to Reporters here on France 24. I'm Mark Owen. In this edition, a people in search of itself. This year marks the centenary of the Armenian genocide. Up to 1.5 million were killed. In this bleak period, 3/4 of the Armenian population perished. Many hundreds of thousands who survived were forced out of their homes, sent far away into persecution. Massacres took place across eastern Turkey and present-day Syria. At Deir ez-Zor, Armenians died in horrific conditions in concentration camps. Those who survived were forced to deny their religion, their heritage and their culture, or face the consequences. The European Union is asking Turkey to recognise the Armenian genocide. While diplomatic rows continue, A Lost People tries to piece together its history, its own story. Our reports by Ashram Verdian and Johan Bodan.
White carnations in memory of the horrors of the past.
It's a strange feeling, very painful. I'm very moved, very touched. It's like a movie scene. This music takes me back to 1915. It reminds me of how these people were massacred.
100 years after the mass killings, thousands of people still visit the Armenian Genocide Memorial in Yerevan. Among them, Armanak from Turkey. He came here with a group of friends.
I've always felt Armenian, but only over the past 4 or 5 years have I felt the urge and desire to assert my Armenianness.
Until recently, Armanak and his companions thought they were Turkish or Kurdish. A few years ago, they discovered their Armenian roots and decided to learn more about their heritage in their ancestral homeland in eastern Turkey. A journey in the footsteps of a lost community. Dersim, a region where Armenians were in the majority for centuries. Here we're led to a precipice with a haunting nickname, the Armenian Cliff.
During the 1915 genocide, they killed all those that they brought here. They would ram them up in nearby villages, tie their hands and feet together, and throw them off this cliff. I'm 53 years old, and I only learnt about this 5 years ago.
Since 1915, the Armenian genocide has been a taboo subject in Turkey. But now these friends are on the hunt for memories in this little village.
Hello, how are you?
We came to visit the church. Do you know the story?
They took all the stones from this church to build schools.
For decades, the Turkish government has encouraged locals to build using stones from these Armenian landmarks.
You see, these are original rocks from the church, displaying the Armenian craft. Armenians didn't use mortar at the time. They carved the stone symmetrically. This symmetry is characteristic of Armenian buildings.
Dating back to the 10th century, most of the Ergen monastery's marvels are in ruins.
This village was entirely populated by Armenians up to that point, and the Alevis were on the other side. My father spoke Armenian.
Are you Armenian?
No.
When he says his father spoke Armenian, that tells me that this man also has Armenian roots without even knowing it. Maybe he is one of those hidden Armenians.
In these remote villages, family stories are not always clear. In Dersim, Alevi Kurdish tribal leaders known for their tolerance refused to hand over the Armenians during the genocide. And in the province's capital, Tunceli, people haven't forgotten. Alevi Kurds and Armenians have always lived side by side here, resisting the Central Powers together.
I'll come to see you. I've been working on the Armenian ruins with my association. I haven't had time to come to your village yet.
There has never been any hatred here. We've always lived together, without tension. That's what my uncles told me.
Armenians used to make tapestry machines. That's what a Kurdish tribal leader once told me. They were very good at crafts: tapestry, jewelry making, metalwork, hairdressing, dressmaking, everything in the industry.
Another picture from the past for the group from Dersim. 1915, the deportation and genocide of Armenians living under the Ottoman Empire. 1.5 million people were killed. Officially, there were no Armenians left in eastern Turkey. But up to 200,000, mostly women and children, managed to escape death. Most were forced to convert to Islam and assimilated into the Turkish and Kurdish populations. Cemil is the oldest survivor of the genocide. How old are you?
I'm 130, 140 years old.
No, he's 110 years maximum.
I remember when the Sultan ordered the massacre of Armenians. Evil ran through the heart of man. My family and I took refuge in the caves.
Despite the years, Cemil hasn't forgotten his mother tongue.
See, he remembers.
The language of the past no longer exists. We can no longer speak it. There's no one to speak to anyway.
Hayrettin picks up where his father left off.
When they left the caves, they adopted Turkish names and converted to Islam. We only learned that we were Armenian at school because we were discriminated against. They used to call us infidels.
Cemil's family are Muslims, but proud of their Armenian identity.
When people ask me about my identity, I say I'm Armenian. They say, God forbid, how can that be? And I explain that ethnically I am Armenian, but at the same time I'm Muslim.
So how did Armenians, Christians since the 4th century, become Muslims? Arman discovered his roots while rummaging through some old family photos following the death of his father.
Here is a picture of my father. He was a child, only 4 years old in 1915. A Kurdish Muslim family rescued and raised him. They took care of him, and when he grew up, they gave him their daughter. He converted to Islam. My father has even been to Mecca. He was born with an Armenian name, Hagop, and he became Abdullah.
In these civil records, traces of the family's conversion to Islam.
This is my grandfather, Ovsep, and my grandmother. This is my father's first name, Hagop. They were Christians, you see, and my father converted to Islam. Here are my 5 brothers, my father and mother, all my brothers. I'm the youngest of the 5. You can see the signs everywhere. Islam, Islam, Islam.
Until recently, Arman was called Abdurrahim. Raised a Muslim, he's now a volunteer at the Armenian church in Diyarbakir.
This building dates back to 1376, and it's one of the largest churches built in the Middle East.
This church was abandoned during the genocide. In 2011, it was renovated and reconsecrated. It's where Arman plans to convert to Christianity. But for now, there's no permanent priest.
My heart bleeds to see this place empty. I would love for Armenians to be here, to come back to this place. That's my greatest wish.
The church was restored by the Armenian diaspora and the local authorities of Diyarbakir. Kurds in the town participated in the genocide back in 1915, but today's local leaders have taken on the Armenian cause, pressing for civil rights for Turkey's minorities.
The Kurds in Turkey have a historical debt to the Armenians and other minorities because at the time they were manipulated by the state and essentially had a role in the genocide. Because of this role, they have to face up to the present and repent.
Comforting words for Arman, especially given his family's attitude to his newfound enthusiasm for the church. His wife's a devout Muslim and he feels indebted to her ancestors. They helped save his grandfather during the genocide.
It's become really complicated with my wife. I've had to separate myself. I would have liked to have taken you to my place for coffee. My wife isn't against the fact that I found my roots, but against my finding Christianity. Because of this, she tells me I'm better off going to the mosque to pray. And children, they listen to their mother. They say there are Kurds, Muslims. Ethnically, we can say we are Armenians, and people support us, our relatives, brothers, neighbors. That's not the problem. The only problem is the religious aspect.
In eastern Turkey, the social pressure is palpable. But in Istanbul, Armenians find it easier to blend in with the crowd. The city has 48 Armenian churches, 17 schools, and numerous community organizations. 34-year-old Nazan comes from a family of Muslim converts from Dersim. In 10 days' time, she'll officially become a Christian.
I came to Mass today for Palm Sunday to get my olive branch.
Traditions have survived here despite the killings which wiped out much of the Armenian elite during the genocide. Today, this is a united and devout community, numbering an estimated 45,000 people. And it's thriving, thanks to the growing number of people from the East who are discovering their roots.
Being here calms me. Being here alone with God, speaking to Him, living my religion. It's a very special feeling. Before I was immersed in a different culture, but since coming here I feel that I belong to this place.
After Mass, Nazan goes to see a senior member of the clergy.
Hello, Holy Father. My name is Nathan. I am from Tunçeli in Dersim. I was Alevi, and now I wish to return to my identity.
So you were Alevis and now you want to become Armenian again?
Actually, my father is Armenian and my mother Alevi. Our family escaped the genocide. I will soon be baptized, but the date is not yet fixed. I cannot wait.
For those Armenians who want to convert to Christianity, the process is complicated. And the church is treating this new trend on a case-by-case basis.
To protect our church and the Armenian community, we need to investigate, monitor, and identify the roots of the person who wants to take a step like this. When a person says they want to abandon their ancient cultural identity after 4 generations and take on the identity of their ancestors, one wonders what the purpose is. That is why we are cautious.
Some Armenians have been helped out of the shadows by this weekly newspaper, Agos. It's one of the few publications in Turkey to talk openly about the Armenian question. But its founder, Hrant Dink, paid with his life for breaking taboos. In 2007, he was shot dead by a Turkish ultranationalist, a crime that sent shockwaves around the country and ignited an overdue debate.
There are 36 different ethnicities in Turkey, but officially there is only one. Turkish, one people. The Turkish people. This isn't true, and talking about it, accepting it and understanding it disturbs the Turkish mind. After the death of Hrant Dink, a large number of people knocked on our door saying we are Armenian, help us. When these people claim to be Armenian, how can we allow ourselves to contradict them? What right do we have to say no, to say you're not Armenian? We're always seeking the answer to these questions.
Breaking that silence has been a big part of lawyer Fatia Çetin's life. She represented Dink's family And when she too discovered her Armenian roots, she decided to write a book. Released in 2004, it became a bestseller and has since been translated into 13 languages.
Büyük ve geniş olacağını doğrusu ben de.
I didn't expect this to be a hit. It's like opening a bottle of sparkling water that's been shaken. The bottle was barely opened and the stories were pouring out, one after another.
Ben açar açmaz.
The descendants of the Armenians who had converted to Islam told me that they are not accepted by the dominant Turkish community because they're considered to be the children of infidels.
Çünkü biz gavur dönmesi.
Nor are they accepted by the Armenian minorities.
Ne de
It's like purgatory, rejected by both communities.
Biz araftayız. İki toplum da bizi dışlıyor.
Fatih collected thousands of long-hidden secrets, rewriting a history denied by Turkey for a century. From the Anatolian Plateau to the Bosphorus Straits, many Turks are now questioning the roots of their identities. The descendants of a hidden community have opened a Pandora's box, locked away by previous generations.
April the 24th is the anniversary of the start of the Armenian genocide. A special ceremony will take place in Yerevan. It will be covered by France 24. This is Reporters. You're watching France 24. Stay with us.